Hello, Rebecca. The top left set here in assignment 2 looks excellent. Um, the one below it doesn't seem to have matching center swatches. And on bottom right, I think what's going on the right side there will be color vibration, which is a little distracting and interferes with the effect of color relativity to some extent. Now, with assignment 3, maybe on right, the value could be made to look a little darker. How would you do that? Lighten the backdrop, and that will have the effect of making the swatch appear darker. Um, with the last set there in assignment 3, I think what you could stand to do is make the left center swatch look bluish or blue-greenish, maybe even a cyan could help there. So the backdrop could be the complement of the color that you want to add. Hello, Jeff. You know, your left side sets in assignment 2 are quite nice, especially the top one. Now, looking at assignment 3, you have certainly brought the swatches to the point where they're looking more like one another. However, I think you can make them look just like one another, and that might require you to choose different swatches, for example. Catherine, good job with assignment 2. I especially like the bottom right set. It's amazing to see that gray center swatch begin to look yellowish. Now, when I look to assignment 3, there is a color mismatch with the center swatch on the right side of the left set. It doesn't match the one below. With the second set, yes, you've made those two violets look much more alike given the background. Hello, Regina. Everything that is meant to match does here. Some striking examples on top in assignment 2, both of those sets. I might say on bottom right, when you have the yellow swatch on a yellow ground, sometimes the effect is diminished when the eye is searching to see the swatch on a similar ground. Now, I think with what you've got for assignment 3, on left with the right side, it's possible to make that center swatch look darker. And with the right set, I'd say your two swatches are very different to begin with, which is making things quite hard for you. I will grant you that you've made those two swatches look more alike, but they can look the same. Well, hi, Shannon. You know, there are some things that look okay here. I like to note that because templates were provided, all of the work here has to do in changing and rearranging colors until you get something that's just really what we're looking for. In the case of assignment 3, the two center swatches should look markedly different, and you've done that in top left. With the top right and bottom left sets, I'd say the backdrop colors are too similar for much of an effect. And let's take a look at assignment 3. I think you're reversing the theory here. If we look at both sets, on left, the value of the center swatch needs to be reversed. So if you want that violet swatch to look lighter in value, put it on a dark background. If you want the yellow swatch to look darker, put it on a light background. Hi, Jamie. You know, I really like this top right set in your assignment 2. There, you've got those two swatches looking very different. The effect is relatively mild in the other examples here, and as I was just saying to Shannon, you know, because the template's given to you and there's not any composition idea needed here, it's really up to you to spend a lot of time tinkering with the colors and working with the theory. Now, let's see, with assignment 3, well, I'd say in both cases your center swatches are very similar, almost too similar to make this a viable couple of examples. On right, you have successfully made the two swatches look very much the same given their backdrops, even though they were similar to start with. On left, they actually look more different with the backdrops. So I'd like you to revisit the theory and look at my notes in the draft review to see if you can figure how you could bring those colors a little closer together and maybe even start with colors more different. Marie, you're showing a great deal of control here with both of these assignments. There are striking color sets in assignment 2, and I urge you to revisit these color sets and consider using them in work that you'll do later on in the course and perhaps in other design projects. With assignment 3, this is right. Your solutions are very good. I would like to suggest to you that a hue shift is more difficult to accomplish. And if you start with swatches that are different in hue, that can make the work more interesting. Hi, Heather. Looking at your assignment 2, the sets on right are especially good. It wasn't necessary to use the same center swatch color. I think that may have limited you a little bit. I know that they're all the same. It might be at bottom left, we have color vibration interfering with the effect a little. Now, with assignment 3, wow, what an amazing solution there on left. On right, things are looking pretty good. I would say, the colors, the center swatches look more alike on the grounds. However, it seems that the swatch on the left is more yellowish, the one on the right is more bluish. So I'm thinking, how could you balance that? Maybe you want to add a quality of more yellow to the swatch on the right. If so, try a blue background. Remember to use the digital color wheel for this sort of thing. Hello, Star. One thing I want to mention to you and other people who made their own compositions versus using the template is if the swatch is small in relation to the ground will have greater influence over it. Now, looking at your assignment 2, I especially like the 2 sets on bottom. On top, it might be that we've got a little color vibration interfering with what's going on the right sides of each set. Now, you've done more work than was needed with assignment 3. Looking at these, I'd say your 2 top sets are the strongest. Hello, Julia. With your assignment 2, the sets on bottom are especially striking. With assignment 3, well, let's take a look at the left side set there. I think you're setting up a hard task for yourself. Those couple of swatches are very different from one another. If you want that pale swatch to look dark, its backdrop has to be paler than it is. And I see what you're trying to do on right. You're using the darkest value you can get and keeping it saturated so as to desaturate the look of the center swatch. But remember, you can juggle the colors of the backdrops or the swatches. On right, I will grant you that you've brought those couple of colors to the point where they look very similar. Amanda, here in yours, everything that's meant to match does. I appreciate the subtle colors that you've been working with in assignment 2. I especially like that bottom right set. And as I was saying to one of your classmates, consider retaining these color sets for possible future use in another design, in a creative design. Now, in assignment 3, the left side set looks good. I will grant you with both of these, your center swatches are looking rather similar, especially in the right side set. However, you haven't been able to achieve an exact match, and I know I was toying with this when you presented something similar in drafts. I can see on left you're using a desaturated drop, probably in an effort to make the swatch seem more saturated. Maybe that was a tone.